We're
Oh
live.
my god, we're live. It's not just me and Emma. We've got the literary agent, the Fran literary agent with us today. I don't know. I don't know
what she's doing.
I don't know what the tech setup is today. Is Fran also live streaming on her channel?
I'm just trying to find out. That's what I'm
We were
trying to look
trying to
at.
see if we could do it.
I can see you live, but I can't see me live.
Terrorize me.
Mochi's currently terrorizing my mum for food.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see you live, but I can't see me live.
Well,
Anyway.
Right, let me try and figure it out.
Oh, Mara's here. My show is on popcorn. Oh, Mara.
that's nice. Also, you're in for absolute chaos, Mara, because the three of us together is probably like a really terrible idea. Just if you think it gets unhinged when we're separate, just wait till we're all together.
Yeah.
Fran is concentrating. She's trying to figure out
the technology.
if we can live stream on her account as well as ours.
Ooh,
we are echoing. Who is it? Hello? Hello?
Oh, it's blocked. Mine's blocked. My
Oh.
pop-up. I've got a pop-up blocker. It says connect TikTok. To connect, please disable the pop-up blocker in your browser settings.
Yeah,
How
so
do I do that?
in your browser, you'll see there'll be like a little thing on in your search bar. There'll be like two little overlapping things that look like little overlapping cards. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Click on that. Fran, I think you're echoing, man.
It's me.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Mara thinks it's me. I can find some earphones.
Do you know what, Mara? This is what happens when these two don't have a professional setup like me with this big fancy microphone, so we get all this echoing. She's shaking her head because it used to be me that had the shit set up. No, it's definitely Fran.
Yeah, it's me. I don't know any of my logins.
This is going so smoothly. I love it.
Well, it's live, isn't it? It's just like you're live on the internet. What happens?
I love it.
Live.
It's like a live demo.
Okay, right. So
never works out.
I've clicked to stream it to my
TikTok.
Yeah, but it just keeps switching back to my burner account.
Oh, is it okay now, Sam? Oh no, we can still hear it. It's just Fran in it.
Earbuds in, so
I
don't know why Fran's echoing though, because she's got headphones on, which makes no sense. Yeah. Are you both listening and using the microphone of the headphones? Headaches.
Oh, connect TikTok. Maybe it's about to work.
Ooh.
False alarm is better than whatever just happened as I joined. Okay.
Right, so it's added apparently. Right, I'm just going to check. Right,
Yeah.
Why don't you guys talk about marketing? Yeah.
Also, confession, I think Fran doesn't realize she's actually a marketing person plus.
Yeah.
We spoke about this the other day, me and Emma, and I was like, Fran's a marketer, like we all know this, right? And Emma's like, yeah, but she doesn't. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, she's a knob. You've actually been a sales and marketing director.
Yeah, I have. I forget about that sometimes, you know. So, you know, don't want to think too hard about the past, do we?
No, don't. No, it's best forgotten.
Yes, I don't think this is working, so I'm just going to share it and hope for the best.
Awesome.
Right.
So, who is on with us? Yes, Mara, the past is the past, couldn't agree more. Hello, Sam. Hello, Mara. Hello, if anyone else is joining. Fran just joined on TikTok. This is all like liveception.
It's crazy. She's just reposted it as well, so that's all good.
Excellent.
I do have a presentation. Of course I do. For us to run through. So people on TikTok, do you want us to do the presentation? It's for authors / a lot of it can be applicable for small businesses as well. Seen as, especially as an author, you have to think about yourself as a small business.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us if yes, Mara wants the presentation.
Excellent.
Mara, how did you find us? Did you just come live, or like, where is everyone? Because my profile isn't Mara. Help! Where are the others?
Where are they?
Mara's been showing up to our lives since you got her on here
Okay,
the first
great.
time.
So maybe she just because mine's not showing up as live, so they don't know I'm here. But I have to share it to my story on TikTok. So let's
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
yeah.
See what happens. Okay.
Also, we do also, obviously, Fran, we want your opinion as we go through this. So it might be less of a presentation and more of a chat through.
Okay, that sounds nice. Sure.
And then
Love a chat.
and then we'll try and do it as quickly as we can, and we'll just answer loads of questions maybe after we've talked through the key points. But if there's anything that you want clarification on, then we'll do it at the time. We'll do it like as we're going.
Cool.
Sound good?
Yeah, I've shared it to my followers, Mara.
Right, I'm going to
Um,
share.
I'm going to switch our screens and hopefully it works on here.
Share my window.
Oh.
Woohoo.
I'm going to mess with the settings so that...
Oh, now it's doing that really annoying thing where it's like filling my whole screen to present.
Oh, good times.
Well, now I can't see anybody, which is really sad.
That is sad. I
Oh, well.
think this is as good as we're going to get. Let's see if we can move it. We can't move it. This is crazy.
It's
I'm
now
just
not
figuring
sharing
out.
it, is it? Oh, do you know, if I just do it like this, is that all right? If I zoom in?
yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, just zoom in on us. It's okay. It's fairly well sized.
Okay, well, everybody, welcome to Lies Authors Are Told About Marketing.
Hello, Richie Reads and Writes.
What did you just say?
Hello, Richie Reads and Writes. I'm just
Oh.
welcoming people. You gotta
Oh, I
welcome
see. I
people.
was like, I thought you were just like shouting. I was like, let's not start trolling straight away, Ruta. Okay, all right.
Give it 5. This sucks. You don't know what you're talking about.
So
Yeah,
things we're
plenty
going
of
to
time
talk
for that.
about. Am I going to have to be the serious one here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fine. That's okay. I can do that for once. So what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about the lies that people tell you. Then Ruta and I are going to run very quickly through marketing strategy, ICPs, which will all be revealed what that means in a moment, and some social media stuff. And then we will talk very quickly about reporting that you can set up for yourself if you are at all interested in that. Sound good?
We love
Yes.
it.
And then Fran will yell at us if we say anything that's remotely inappropriate or not relevant.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And the idea is to run through this as quickly as possible, and then we do chat. And
Chat at the
answering
end.
Things. Yeah.
Chat at the
cool.
end. So, Ruta, over to you. Go.
Marketing's really expensive sometimes, but it doesn't have to be. Here are some references to how much things should cost and what normal pricing is. Thank you for background noises. So in terms of what a freelancer should cost, so execution, so if someone is doing something for you in terms of like making a piece of art, writing something, managing something, that's in the £200 to £600 per day, whatever the dollar equivalent is. You can probably do the dollar equivalent anyway, just switch the signs out. And then if someone's doing like strategy, kind of, I guess, bigger setups, figuring out how things work, figuring out like how you're going to do something, the day rate there is like in the 500 to 1,000. So just as a reference, if you're paying for anything, that's kind of where we're at. So obviously, as writers, you know that content can be created cheaply. It might not be cheaply on your hours, but cheaply as in you don't have to spend a lot of money, but you do need the right tools. So getting yourself a Canva, getting yourself something like Riverside where you can record things and then have them transcribed. All of those tools are fairly inexpensive and won't run you more than like $50 a month, but will probably increase your productivity a bunch. Ads aren't always the answer. This one's interesting for literature, I guess. So like if you're thinking about promoting your book and paying for some ads on Amazon, all good, but be very careful and check how they're performing because so for example, I don't know about Amazon ads for books. Fran, please add to that, but LinkedIn, for example, is a really expensive platform to advertise on. So you really should, if you're not spending less than like $1,000, don't even bother kind of messing with LinkedIn. It's just not worth it. I don't know what that level is in Amazon, Fran, if you've got any kind of insight
Yeah,
there.
it's a lot of money, but the main thing is that the Amazon keywords don't always make sense. So you kind of need, it's basically a full-time job in itself. So if you're not using a professional who is using Amazon all the time and understands how the algorithm is changing, then it's going to cost you an enormous amount of money and you're going to get no return.
Yeah, Mara's actually said in the comments that she spent $100 there and got one purchase, so maybe I did something wrong. It's probably unlikely that you did anything wrong, Mara. It's just really expensive. It's just basically something that, unless you've got publisher money to play around with, don't spend your own cash.
Or you know how to do it really, really well, like as in that is what you've done before.
Yeah.
I think it's quite hard because also if you think about how many books there are whenever somebody searches and how many options there are, like there's a lot of competition to bat away essentially, and it gets expensive. Doesn't have to be, but it can be. Now, ICP is the acronym that Emma used a couple of moments ago. That means ideal customer profile, and having one and knowing who you are targeting your book to is going to be really key in being able to do marketing effectively and efficiently. And by that, I mean, if you know exactly who you're going after, it means that you can target them with the exact right messaging, with the exact right timing, with the exact right excerpts of the book and content, whatever it is. So you're not just kind of spraying and praying and hoping that everyone and anyone might be able to see what you're doing, because then it becomes really hard to create content that's actually specific and engaging, because again, you're just trying to appease everyone, which is really, really hard in a marketing sense. And then the last point on here is activity versus resources. So how should you split your time and efforts in marketing? So we say that about 60% of your efforts should go towards activity. So actually doing things, posting things, going to things, organizing things, all of those like active bits of marketing. And then 40% should go to resources. So that's, I guess can you think of any specific examples, Emma, on what that might be for?
I guess it might be, I mean, yeah, I would say probably it's things like setting up, doing the setup of things and making sure that you spend time with it, cleaning up your email lists and maintaining your website and those things. So like activity, I would say, is almost like creating your content, and resources, probably understanding your content, looking at your data, cleaning up stuff, maybe doing some of this other stuff that we're about to talk about, sorting out an ICP, a strategy, a plan, doing all of that bit. Next one, you can do it all yourself. Red flags. It's actually very hard. Most of us, even who do marketing professionally, don't do all of this ourselves all the time. And I appreciate this is very difficult when you maybe don't have the budget to spend. But it's about knowing maybe where to get help and when. And then if you have got any money to chuck at any marketing, or you're thinking about dabbling with ads, to basically think about where you want to put that money, if you've got any at all. So some things we would say yes, like for you guys in particular, content creation, if you spend your time like understanding the technicalities that sit behind that, so like the setup stuff that we talked about, absolutely create your own content. If you've got a website, setting up basic website pages, all those sorts of things, absolutely. Now we're going to say something that I know that a lot of people on this call don't like, which is to do with AI. Fran's already warned me, but it can be a great research tool. So if you think there are some gaps in your marketing and you maybe can't afford to spend that kind of money on a freelancer, the stuff that Ruta was talking about, this is where you can kind of use AI as your kind of like work buddy. So you don't have to get it to do any of the work for you, but it can help you figure out gaps, and also like be a research tool for some of these things. I'll give you a really good example. Like let's say you are putting blogs on your website, you can use AI to write you a framework to write those blogs in that are going to be good for things like keywords. So it's just written you a template, that's it. You then fill out the template, you then write the blog, you then publish and post it. So it's all your work, but it's giving you the best practice advice. So yeah, that's
and
just one.
You can put it back in and get it to check it against the framework and see where you've gone right and where you've gone wrong.
Yeah.
May I add on AI, just to clarify, any authors, do not upload your work into any kind of generative. But also, what I wanted to say was that with if there's something, because obviously it's a hot topic at the moment in publishing especially, and the creative industries, if something is readily available online and you are using AI to get that information as quickly and as easily as possible, that's great. So something I've used it for is to go to Amazon, say to AI, take all the 5-star reviews from this book and tell me what are the common threads or the common keywords and things like that. So if something is publicly available and out there, it is just streamlining your work.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's that hot, and we will get to that because that is one of the red flags in this presentation, basically, is to talk about AI quickly. And then things that we would suggest that you don't try and do just completely on your own are things like strategy. So if you actually work with Fran, you could sit down with her. I'm sure she would love that, and get her support on your marketing strategy. And also that's some of the stuff that I'm sure your publisher and your literary agent do for you if you have them. And then things like specialist marketing work, so development work, dev work. So if you're building website pages and things like that, that is something you should probably spend a bit of money on. And SEO work, so search engine optimization, like how you appear in some of the search engines. I would not dabble with ads alone unless you have got that expertise from a previous life. Content creation without an ideal customer profile, not a good idea. I think it's something that's really quick and easy to do, so do that. And then sometimes branding is not a good idea to do like in isolation on your own, because like, keeping branding consistent, keeping it, all of those sorts of things are things that help people remember who you are. And then the final thing is obviously events, because events are really freaking hard work. So if you're like having a book launch, or you want to have like a signing, or you want to do a talk, or you want to bring a collective of people together, get some help, because it's hardcore.
Yep. Just want to say hello, Gemma. Thank you for joining. Let us know if you have any questions. Another lie, another red flag is that you need a personal brand. This one is a really hot topic in all of marketing, I think. And obviously, who are we to talk about this, because we're literally on a live trying to build a personal brand. But it doesn't mean that you're going to fail without one. There are plenty of millionaires and very successful people out there that don't post on LinkedIn and don't post on TikTok. And that's so the crux of it is understanding whether you need one or not. So personal brands are great because everyone needs awareness about what it is that you're trying to get out there into the world and to show your expertise. But personal brands are very much a long game. That doesn't mean that you can convert people immediately, that you can sell your book immediately. If you go viral on TikTok for something funny that you posted, it usually doesn't mean that you're going to sell any more of whatever you are selling, full stop. It also doesn't mean that you can reach your ideal customer. So, for example, there are a lot of founders, so like business founders, that post a lot about their journey in business. But if they're selling to marketers, for example, like, we don't care about your journey in business, we care about what you are doing to help us as marketers. So you have to kind of match that audience with what you're doing and selling, and to your own content, which again sometimes people don't want to do because they want to post their own stuff, and that's completely fine. And also, most personal branding doesn't give a call to action, so you can't always be asking people to buy your book on every single post. You can't always be asking people to join your newsletter on every single post, etc. So it's very much the long game. It's very much, if that's how you want to function, yes, but there is other marketing you can do instead of trying to like actually build yourself up as the person doing the stuff.
Yeah. Another really important one on there, I think, is also the commercial thinking, because that's, again, a personal brand is just like me marketing myself as a person. And it's not necessarily connecting the dots between, like, if I do have a book to sell and I want people to go from liking me as a human to buying my book, those two things don't necessarily add up. So that's just something to be aware of. We are going to talk about the hot topic of AI. Obviously, for a lot of small businesses in particular, this is the way that people are like, oh, well, we'll just use it for everything. And that's absolutely not what we recommend at all. But we do recommend you use it, because for a small business in particular, which you are as an author, there are some really awesome things you can be doing with AI. So it's the start point. It is never the end. As Fran said, please do not put anything into a free account. Don't put anything ever into a free account ever. because basically what you're doing is in free AI accounts, you're basically teaching the LLM, so it's using your content to learn. Whereas when you pay for an account, it's like it's not doing that. So, or at least allegedly, it's not doing that. We hope they're not. They say they're not. But it is really good at doing things like this, cleaning up data and lists. So if you've got newsletter lists, all those sorts of things, it can clean that up. It can automate repetitive campaign steps. So like, let's say, for example, you are publishing a newsletter, it can kind of almost give you a checklist of things that you might want to do. It is great for, sorting out like unstructured data. Like actually, if you've got a load of marketing metrics and you kind of want to try and start understanding what's going on, it can help you pull that together and help you understand it a little bit better. Quick summaries of calls and feedback or research. Like one of the things we talk about in a minute is to do with your ideal customer profile. So if you're doing some research on that, like Fran said, you can use that to summarize all of it together, so it's really good. It doesn't have to be a manual job. And obviously it can help find gaps in your marketing plan. So once you have uploaded, once you've got a marketing plan, if you put that into your LLM and you say, can you just highlight where you think there might be some gaps? It will be great at doing that. And then also, just so you know, there are loads of different LLMs and tools in the world. There's not just ChatGPT, obviously. We personally don't love it, so we can use other things. So there's a really good website there called there'sanaIforthat.com, and it's basically an aggregator of like all of the AI tools that exist. So if you type into it, I want a tool that's really good at understanding marketing data, I don't know what's going to come out, but it will show you something that might be quite helpful. So it's never the start point, it's never the end, it's always the start. And it does not need to be the thing that's writing your content or writing letters or any of those things, but it can give you a good framework to help you kind of maybe get your head around some of the stuff that you've got to do, because it's a lot for one person. We get it.
I don't have time for marketing. Oh, don't we all? Isn't it all sad? Hi, Ramessa. Thank you for joining us. For those joining us on TikTok just now, we're talking about marketing things useful for authors. Well, if you don't have time for marketing, life is going to be hard. We're all marketing something, even if it's just ourselves. So here's 6 steps to follow to make it a little bit easier and hopefully get over that hump of I don't have time. So make a plan. Don't try and plan your whole life out. Don't try and plan the next 24 months of your book launch. You're going to lose your mind. Try to take it 1 month at a time. Maybe you have like an idea of 24 months, but like in detail, it's just a month. It might be just a week, whatever works for you. Create the ideal customer profile.
We're going to show you how to do that in a minute.
We're going to show you how to do that. And in brackets, it says not a delusional customer profile. So what we mean by that is like actually who's going to be interested in what you're doing versus who you wish was interested in what you're doing. 2 different things. Set up some minimal reporting and tracking. I believe we're going to show you how to do that as well. And what you might want to be looking at kind of on a weekly, monthly basis to check where you're at, essentially. Because I think the other problem with being a solo business owner or a solo writer, you're kind of just doing stuff. And at some point you're like, is any of this ever going to work? Am I crazy? Is this right? Is this wrong? So this will help you kind of get a little bit of grounding. And then if you don't have time, literally put in your diary, whether it's 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day to do some marketing. Whatever it is, just show up, do it, and build that habit of doing a little bit every day, because showing up consistently for a small amount of time versus doing one 10-hour session once a month is going to be a much better plan for you. And it's much more effective because, especially when talking about social media, it's all about showing up rather than going hard and then never being seen again. And then if you can afford some help, get some. If you can afford to pay your friends with coffees and dinners to have some specific help somewhere with design or whatever it might be, do it. And then back to kind of point 3, record your findings and reiterate your plan, meaning if something's not working, change it. If something is working, figure out how to do more of the thing that's working. So I guess the thing we're trying to ask you here is don't just keep doing random shit, basically. Try and quantify whatever you're doing to see if it's actually working or not.
Absolutely. So, what does a marketing strategy include? Rush, if you want, I'll talk through the ideal profile customer profile bit, but this is what a good marketing strategy should have. So, an ideal customer profile, 3 to 5 key goals linked to business goals. Again, you are a business, so try and get your head around that bit. What are you trying to achieve? Not just write a book, get it published, sell the book. There's more to it than that. A marketing SWOT, so you can do one of those really awful ugly old SWOT analysis. It's quite helpful just so you can see where there might be some gaps, and then of course have a bit of a marketing plan like Ruta was saying. So ideal customer profile for you guys. So what goes into a profile for you is going to be things like reader traits. So what are the people who are reading your books? What are some of the traits they have? And that could be as detailed or as top level as you like. What genres they might enjoy. So like, let's say for example you write crime, what are some of the adjacent genres or subgenres that people who read that might enjoy. It might even be specific things like they like I'm going to try my best, Fran. They like crime noir and they like a fucked up detective. Yeah, thanks, not bad. She's nodding. I've got an English literature degree. Okay, I know some things. What other books they buy? So, like again, Fran was talking about getting the Amazon reviews and having a look at that. So, who are the other authors in that category, in your category, that they might like? Buying triggers. Now, this might sound like a really weird thing to think through, but what are they about? What is the thing that makes people buy their next book? It might be just that they finished their last book, but it's unlikely. It's actually usually something deeper than that. There is a reason people read books in your genre. So if you can get at the nub of that, that's awesome. And that goes for the next 2 points, which are kind of like internal drivers and behaviors that people show when they're buying things. So you kind of need to get into the psychology basically of the people that are going to buy your books. And then look at how do people research, what content they engage with, and then if they're not going to buy, why might they stop? What might get in the way? So if you can kind of like put all of that together, and it can just be one page, and like I say, to begin with, it's something that you like iterate over time, so you might learn some more. And then this is how you actually find your ideal customer profile. So you might do things like interview fans that you've already got, like a handful of people who love what you do and what you write about, or people who, if you haven't had your book published, maybe it's people who like an author that you're kind of like alike, in many ways. And then you would interview those people and ask them, what made them buy the book, what kept them buying books from that person or other authors in that genre. And then what you're trying to do is kind of look for patterns in that information. Fran gave a really good example with the Amazon reviews. Look for patterns in the reviews. What are the things that people are saying? Can you make content about those things? That's what we're really getting at here. And then check the data that you've got on social media. So if you've got any like demographic information about who follows you, or if you have to go in and stalk every single one of your followers and find out who they are, do it. It's worth it. And then we like test and refine. And as we get all that information together and we start to create content just for those people, it's really niche, but just for those people, you start to see through the data if it's actually working or not. And if it's not working, we flex. If it is working, we double down.
Yeah, so I think, I know we're going to do questions at the end, but Mara, how do we use the ICP? How can we find our customers using the ICP on TikTok? So it's exactly that. Once you have a narrow idea of who the person is that you're selling to, literally create a person in your head. You will be trying to create content for them. So like, what are they interested in? What kind of music do they listen to? What kind of backing track should we use? What kind of I don't know, what kind of other books are they reading? Like, how do they want you to show up? Do they want you to be a mysterious and like weird author, or do they want you to be like super bubbly and cool? And like, whatever it is, basically putting that content out will attract those people. And again, sometimes and all of the times you should test and refine, because we will fuck it up at least a couple of times, but it gets you much closer to being able to attract the right audience.
Yeah, you might post some weird shit and be like, this is strange.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you'll be like, oh my God, all these people love what I'm doing. It's really weird.
So what do good marketing goals look like? Of course, we can set any goals that we like. We might set a goal of, being a New York Times bestseller with the first book you wrote, with nobody ever knowing who you are. that's hard. Good goals are grounded in data. So grounded in data on two ends. One, it's something that you can measure and you can check upon. But two, it's ideally something that you have used some data to create in the first place. So like an ICP, if you can figure out, how many of these humans in the world are there that might be into what I'm doing, and then be like, okay, if I wanted to attract 10% of those, what would that be like? That's the kind of thing that we're talking about when it says grounded in data. Marketing goals should also support your revenue goals. Now, not everything is direct to revenue. And again, Mara asked a good question of like, how do we go from someone liking me to wanting to buy my book? We will discuss. So there are steps in between, and we often use a framework called OKRs, so it's objective key results. So you might have a key result. Oh, the dogs. Jeez.
You can tell it was Fran's house.
Yeah. So you might have an objective of like, I want to get 1,000 followers on TikTok, but underneath that, you will have a few tasks that you need to do in order to get there, right? And you might not get there at the end. It might not be 1,000, but you want to make sure that you tick off those bits that needed to be doing. So it's like, show up every day, comment, blah, blah, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
So again, not revenue specific, but it's getting you there. Consider how you want to support your audience or customers. So in B2B marketing, which is really boring, we think about what we want to make our customers feel like, what we want to be for our customers. So for example, if not a literary example, but a HR example. For most HR people, we want to hold their hand, make them feel comfortable, make them feel like we are the trusted advisor. And whenever they consume our content, we want them to have those feelings. So think about what you want your audience to feel like when they consume your content. And again, make that a goal and a measurable goal, because otherwise, again, you are going to be having a hard time with being specific and finding an ICP. And then also consider the life cycle. So we briefly touched on the funnel, I think on the first time Fran sent you guys over, but there is a kind of stages of being aware of someone, then getting to know them, then finding out what they do, then considering what they do and considering purchasing, and then purchasing. So again, going from that, they like me as a person, to now buy my book, there's like a whole bunch of steps in the middle, which we will again go through, but consider working at all of those different points, because you don't want to just do only top of funnel, which is like, oh, here I am, and then never talk about the bottom of funnel, which would be the thing you're trying to sell. You've got to do a mix of everything.
Yeah, I think a really nice example for you guys might be awareness is like, hi, my name's Fran. I write these type of books. This is a bit about me as a person. That's probably, love you, Fran. It's probably not going to convert anybody. It's probably not enough. In the sort of like consideration conversion stages of the funnel, the content might be a bit more about this is the genre I write. If you like this author, this is how I'm like that. This is sort of what you might get from my stuff. Blah blah blah. Like get more specific. Then once maybe you have got a book published, or you're selling a book, or you're, however you're doing it, even if you're self-publishing and you're selling a book and you've got people who've bought it, taking the people who've maybe bought the book and then maybe creating some content off the back of that. So if it's review-based content, or it's like interview-based content, or those sorts of things. So you're taking the good stuff that people have said about you and you're pushing that back out into the world. So that's just a bit of an example. KP Newbury actually has just asked on TikTok about, do you recommend the ICP step before writing the book or after? It is never too late to have an ideal customer profile. And we say that to businesses that are literally millions and millions of pounds in and are now kind of like plateauing or whatever's going on. Like you can have one whenever. Obviously the ideal thing is that you would set this up before you write a book if you had that opportunity.
But it also depends how you write, right? Like if you just want to write because you've got this idea about something, you're not going to do the ICP before, but having a thought about who's going to read this after, absolutely key. Or maybe even during, starting to think about what that looks like.
And hopefully as well, I feel like if you're then looking for a literary agent or a publisher, I feel like if you have got some of that commercial thinking, I feel like that's quite attractive. I don't know if I'm wrong in saying that, Fran, all right? But
no, I think you're right. Like, I'm making notes as you're talking of things to say. So I'll mention to any authors here, a lot of this is what we call comps. So when you're putting comps in your query, and your comp can be another book, it can be another film, it can be another author, it can be a general vibe, it can be anything you want basically. And getting the content for who you are wanting to see it. So if you're self-publishing, you're going direct to the reader, for example. What kind of comps are they going to want to see? If you're coming to me, an agent, you might want a slightly different set of comps. Like, you've got to investigate who that customer is at that point where you're trying to find them, whether it's an agent, whether it's a publisher, whether it's a reader, because they're 3 different sets of customer.
Yeah, very good point.
That's
Actually,
such a great point.
we
Yeah.
do actually all have different audiences. Just to add a level of complexity to this, that is where our AI friends can help, though, speed this up as much as we may resist it. And then we can do a good old-fashioned SWOT on our marketing. So we can look at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. But I would always say the stress test question for a SWOT is always, what are the strengths in what I currently do? And then what is the evidence to back it up that I actually do it well, in the same way that you would with opportunities, threats, weaknesses, those sorts of things. So an opportunity might be someone's just actually had a book published, it's gone crazy viral. And so therefore I know I'm writing something similar. So actually that's an opportunity for me. But what are the things that I have in my back pocket? What are the data points that I have that say that this is actually an opportunity for me? So yeah, you can but just always do it with that lens that, like, whatever you say about yourself is lovely, but always think about how you can back it up.
Mara asked, is it worth putting something like that in our query letter, our marketing plan, essentially?
Fran.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, there's a fine line, isn't there? Because an agent or a publisher is going to have a lot of ideas about what you're doing. But I think demonstrating what you're trying to do is you're trying to demonstrate that market is there. The worst queries I get are the ones that say, this book is unlike anything that's ever been published before. There is no film or TV that's like it, because all you're doing is telling me there's no market for it and no one wants it.
Oh,
So,
we have,
yeah.
we
We've
have
got-
those.
Yeah.
We have those in tech. We're like, no.
Same thing as like any business. It's like, no one has ever done this before. And I'm like, yeah, but why?
Yeah, exactly that.
The internet has
exactly
existed for a long time. Why has no one done this? There must be a good reason why.
Yeah.
So yeah,
In the same
being original is not as good as you might think it is.
and also in the same way that saying that this book is for everyone.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's not.
Nobody wants that. No, you do not believe us. You do not want everybody to read your book.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Mara said, my concern is making the query letter too long. That would be my only hesitation. Yeah, absolutely. Reading's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't want to put too much in there, Mara. Like the query letters, just to kind of flag what your book is and what you're about as a writer and who you think would like you and your book.
Yeah. And I think this is more for you, but I think it helps if you do get into conversation with people to see that like, let's say, for example, you start working with someone like Fran and you say, look, I actually do have a marketing plan and I've got an ideal customer profile. And then Fran says, well, okay, this is where I think you might sit. And you go to Fran, oh yeah, I agree, but I have actually got some data that backs up some of the things that I'm saying. Like, that's a really good conversation to be having.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think if you're getting at the point where you're having a call with an agent, that's the point where I, as an agent, will be asking you kind of what your goals are, what your market is, who you've got in mind when you're writing the book. So that would be a good place to do it at that point. So I think if it's before that, you might come across as a little intense. Not everyone will, but it depends. So I would say once you've got a call with an agent, raise it then.
Yeah, definitely.
It shows you're taking it seriously and you're looking at everything as a business.
Yeah, which is unfortunately or fortunately something that I know people do want to see. So yeah. And then obviously you need to make sure you've got a solid marketing plan. So always, if you take nothing else away from this other than this to me is everything, is the, like, what are we doing and why? What's the purpose of the stuff we're posting? What are the principles that sit behind it? So like, how does this align back to what I want to achieve as an author and my business goals? The state of play. So what's kind of currently happening at the moment? Like, are you just doing ad hoc marketing? Do you wake up in the morning and go, this is what I feel like making, and you do it? Versus how is it actually linked back to what you want to achieve? And then tactics, always like, how are you actually going to do it? So that, like, thinking about, am I going to do 30 minutes a day? Am I going to do 2 hours on a Friday? Like, how are you going to actually achieve the thing? And we have got some resources if you want to nick them. They are quite, I'm going to be honest, they're very, like, marketing as an organization centric. So the strategy audit might not be right, but the template at least is going to give you all of this in a template, and then you can pull it apart afterwards if you want to grab them. And then we will talk about social media and reporting very quickly. Cool. We'll also send them round somehow. Don't know how we do that.
Have you got a link to the marketing strategy in your, like, bio or something?
No, but we will. We'll put it there. Won't we, Ruta? Ruta, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Technology. We will post on our TikTok a proper post with these, so you can get them off there.
Okay,
so
fabulous.
follow us. That will come. Hey, Disco Barrington. He's worried. I want to say he, but it might not be. They are worried that they will be frustrated if they're constantly marketing. Like, it will be boring, as in the things you're producing will be boring, or you will get bored of doing it.
Or author doesn't all have to be by my. Oh yeah, okay. Mara's saying yeah.
Thank you, Mara, for moderating the audience with your knowledge. We appreciate it. So, social media 101. Probably all the things you know, but just to reiterate, do post consistently, 2 to 3 times a week. Have a clear point of view. So don't be vanilla, because no one cares.
But also don't be a dick.
I mean, unless it works for you. Listen, many people have made a career out of being dicks, so we can't discount it. Tell stories. So show real outcomes, not opinions. So we talk about this obviously in B2B. We want to, like, be validating what we are saying. If you can, obviously, if you're writing a fiction, you will be talking about stories rather than outcomes. But if you are kind of having conversations with agents or trying to sell your book in somewhere, show them what you have done and how that has affected your book's journey or your sales journey, whatever it is, rather than just, I did this and it was nice. Start strong. First 2 lines, the hooking is going to either hook or there's someone's going to scroll past. So I'm sure everyone noticed this, but you've got to catch their attention before they scroll off. Engage back, reply to comments within 24 hours. Use line breaks. Everyone, reading is hard, guys. Like, everyone skim reads. Make the format readable. You know this, you're authors. And then don't go mad on tagging people. Especially don't tag people that don't know you or don't know what you're doing just to tag them, because it's very spammy and very annoying, and they will just untag you, and then your TikTok's not going to thrive off of that. Don't sell every post. It's just not going to work. Like, just don't do it. People want to connect with engaging content. They want to be entertained. They want to be informed. They don't want you to be just pitching them every single time. Don't overuse hashtags. Again, the algorithm doesn't really care. Don't use jargon. Keep it human. Speak like you do, or like maybe your book is written in Old English, so like why don't you speak like that in your posts? You never know, but keep it consistent with what you're trying to do, basically. Unless you wrote a corporate jargon book, which I would read because that would be funny. For lols, ironically, for lols, guys.
For lols.
Recycle thought leadership. Don't recycle thought leadership cliches. So yeah, don't recycle other people's content. Don't recycle your own content sparingly. Nothing wrong with reusing your own content, but give it a new lease of life every time you do. And don't auto post links. So that means don't just put links in your posts, but also post in the native platform that you are working in, because again, they know where you're posting from. So if you're posting from a scheduler somewhere, as much as it's useful and it's great, it does not do any favors to your reach.
No, everyone hates it. It's really annoying. It's like the worst thing that they ever did to social media algorithms is stop us being able to schedule our posts. So annoying.
Yep.
And then on reporting very quickly. We're going to do this quickly because I do want us to
I
have a
love how
bit.
it's taken us 45 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Well, it's like it's always the way, isn't it? You're like, it's going to be quick. So if you have a website, Google Analytics is the place to start for figuring out what channels work for your marketing. So this is a snapshot of my actual Google Analytics, and you can see here, under report snapshots, you've got like top traffic acquisition, and basically what that means is the channels from that are directing traffic to your website. So if your website becomes, or whatever it might be, becomes the hub of where all your information sits, you want to see where people are coming from. So you can see for me, I've got ChatGPT referrals, I've got Bing, I've got LinkedIn, I've got some other LLM referrals coming through to my website. So that tells me where to put my time, effort, and energy, like which channels are actually working for me. It's going to be different for everybody. But if you've got a website, it's just worth going into here. Yeah, go to Google Analytics, report snapshots, and have a look at where your traffic is coming from, because that will tell you where to spend your time. And then to set up some very simple reporting, I'm going to skip to this one. This is a lot to look at, so I apologize. There's a lot in here. This is a very, and for us, trust us, unfortunately, this is a very simple spreadsheet. We have horrible ones. But basically, we've got all the channels, where everything's coming from. We're tracking it all month on month. And then what we are looking at is things like, we're looking at like, if like, you want people to sign up to your newsletter, you can start to track if people come to my website and they actually sign up to my newsletter, what's the conversion rate between the number of people that come to my website and the number of people that sign up to my newsletter? And is that improving or is that getting worse month on month? Because that's the thing, again, that it's sort of telling you whether you're kind of going in the right direction or not. You can see here we've said email open rates and click-through rates aren't always, I mean, they're not accurate because so many, it's blocked by so many different, for so many different reasons on so many different phones and browsers and all that kind of stuff. So you just don't get the information back. So don't take them to heart. I wouldn't ever say that those are like metrics to really worry about. The other point about like social media followers is that a social media followers, it might be an indication of success if you then off the back are like selling shit tons of books or like getting loads of newsletter signups. But if that's not happening, then the number of followers doesn't necessarily equate to success. So it's just something to be conscientious of. So when you're setting this sort of stuff up, actually we could maybe make like an author specific spreadsheet, couldn't we, Ruta? Because like I've got 5 minutes to spend after this, so maybe we'll make your spreadsheet and we'll send it round, and then you can we'll give you one that you can actually fill out. But basically month on month track and see if things are improving or not. But it is important to try and like look at some of these at least, so that you know you have that sense of like, is it actually working? If I'm putting all this effort in, done all these things that Emma and Ruta have asked me to do, has any of it actually worked? So that's that. So I'm going to shut up now. We can talk.
Right, Fran, give us your
Give us a
give us your
grilling.
lowdown. Give us your
Well, I'm
rating
going to
up.
say, first of all, if Disco Barrington is still here, don't worry about your content being boring. Disco's content is so great because they're a writer and share things about their own writing, but also just recommend loads of queer books and like say what they've been up to. It's really cool. So Disco, if you're still there, don't you fucking worry about your content being shit and boring, because it's absolutely not.
Disco's here.
So Disco's still there. Good. Yeah, so what was I going to say? Yeah, just I think that's been really, really interesting and useful, and there's so much crossover with all different kinds of marketing. I guess the thing that I wanted to sort of flag is that your goals as authors will be really personal to you, and it's interesting because the stuff that Emma and Ruta said about things being measurable and you being able to check on them, something that I hear, like you do get authors who say, you know, I want to be a full-time writer and earn loads of money. I mean, yeah, of course you do, like that's the mega goal, right?
I
But
wanna do
actually
that.
yeah, we'd all
Written
like to do
anything.
that. Yeah, we'd all like to do it. But you know, I get a lot of authors as well who say, do you know what, I want 100 5-star reviews on Amazon, you know, and that's something to you can see, it's something you can look at. It's you know, I think that your goals are personal to you. There's no goal too small or too big, but it's about steps to get there, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I think the other thing with the goals is, you know, like, I don't know, most of you have probably had a job at some point where there's been some goals, and usually they're shit. But I do actually think that that the measurable, the smart objectives thing as well is quite useful to have in your head. You know, the like, are they stretching? Are they measurable? Can't remember the rest of them. Reasonable, realistic.
Realistic.
Yeah, like,
And
that's a good way to think about it. Like, they don't need to be insane.
yeah. And I think from a personal like point, it helps you to see a path somewhere, because again, it can feel just like a never-ending slog. Like there is very little structure in potentially in how you work and how you do things, and it gives you something to kind of base yourself on and just give you a little bit of grounded and mental clarity about where you're going.
Mara was asking if we can post this as video afterwards, but it
Yeah.
already goes to YouTube, so it will be on YouTube.
Yes, it will be on YouTube.
So you can watch it back whenever you want.
Mara also asked earlier, how do we get from somebody likes me as a person to how to buying a book? So I think go back to that funnel concept. You want to basically lead them through by, you know, being aware of who you are, then being aware of what you're into and how you write and like what your goals are, and then working them down basically the funnel to be like, oh hey, by the way, I've also got this book coming out, and here's a bit from it. Maybe you will like it because you like these authors. So it's just about getting them down that funnel in terms of like familiarity with you, and also getting them to commit to things that are not buying your book. So maybe you have a newsletter, maybe it's a follow on TikTok. Is there loads of noise now? Maybe that it's a follow on TikTok, maybe it's a comment about what they're reading. Like get them to opt into things before you ask them to purchase your book, because it's psychologically it's a great way to like make someone feel like they are invested in what you're doing.
Yeah, I also love the idea, and I know this isn't for everybody, but the idea that like we're all invested in your characters. So like if you've got like a, you know, whoever, if there's a main character or there's a group of main characters, like I want to get to know who those people are. I want to know what the fuck is wrong with them most of the time. I want to like fall in love with them, or I want to hate them. And I think there's so much content you like, because you are producing effectively like the ultimate piece of content. You, within that, you have got everything you need to create content that is not just about you as a person, you as an author. So I think, yeah, like let us into the insight of your characters. And then the other thing I was going to say actually is kind of back to this sort of community point. So like I'm sure lots of you are part of like reading groups or like authors groups or whatever, you know, like local stuff. And I think putting yourself out there a bit and offering to be like, oh, I'm actually working on a book right now and I want to talk to other people who are working on books who live near me, and we're going to collaborate together, and then sharing some of that as well, I think is really interesting for people. Because yeah, I mean, for some people it's a job on top of your job, and I feel like, yeah, that's just part of the story, isn't it? It's part of your story. I think, yeah, anything like that is really good, like part of your personal, yeah, the awareness part is basically you as a person, and then the rest, the character bit, I think is more middle, what we would call middle of funnel, which is a bit gross to say out loud, isn't it? But
Absolutely. Any more questions for any more questions? I'm sorry if I missed anything.
There is a comment from Mara which says it does feel like a never-ending slog.
Yeah, and I replied being like, yeah, but also life, Mara, in it.
Yeah.
There's also a comment from Gemma saying that she's planning to query later in the year. Currently, all I have to market is my winning personality. You and me both, Gemma, for better or for worse. This is a lot of what we've got.
Yeah.
So
Gemma also asked how early should you have a website, and I was like, as early as you can, because aid your domain, get some content on there, and also you can start sending people to do shit on your website, which even if you don't have a book yet is completely fine.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you might even, your website might not even be about your book. I mean, like some of the greatest marketing tactics in the world are things like, oh, I've actually started the Northamptonshire Crime Writers Association. There's actually no one that lives near me, so there probably wouldn't be any. But like I've started that, and that's what the website is, and that's what we're collecting information on. And then also by nature of doing that, I can post about what I'm doing as well. So you've given yourself an excuse to promote yourself, but it's through the proxy of like an organization or a group of people together. I love that sort of thing. I love the idea that crime writers in particular, will sit around talking about how they're going to murder someone in their book.
They literally
love
do,
that.
you know, it's quite
I know,
frightening.
bet.
I want to sit there and listen. I have nothing to contribute, but I would like to hear what the ideas are.
Have nothing to contribute.
Anna says, oh yeah, yeah, she knows.
I don't-
She knows.
Fantasizing about murder is not my forte.
Oh,
No,
I think Fran and I spend a lot of time talking about that, don't we?
Yeah,
Probably.
we do. Yeah,
that's
Don't do it
fair.
alone, though.
Anna says any tips for faceless marketing?
I think that's one of them. That idea
Mhm.
that you are going to form like a group, or you're going to talk about a genre or a group of like a type of fiction or whatever you're writing. And then also I think make it about the characters, make it about the plot. I mean, obviously some of this stuff will change because, you know, if you find an agent or a publisher, they'll obviously rip it to shreds and you'll have to change everything you've written. But
Otherwise-
things can
like,
change.
new.
Be adaptable.
Yeah. The other thing for faceless marketing is like embrace channels that embrace faceless marketing. So Reddit, blogs, having a website, all of those things can be very faceless. You don't have to get on the internet and do this basically. But it's the faceless stuff is better suited for faceless formats.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you feel about using AI images for marketing? Yay or nay? Yay.
Depends.
If they're good.
Definitely depends.
Yeah.
I think it's
I don't know. I think
Depends.
you've got to be really careful using anything that's like creative, because it will make me, an agent, question what else is
Oh,
AI.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if you're doing a lot of marketing with AI images, I would think, what else are you using AI for? I would just swerve any kind of like generative AI stuff personally.
That's so hard though.
I know.
Like, who's going to pay an artist to be making you like images? That's so tough.
I guess the only other how do you feel about things like Canva though? Like if someone
Well,
makes me in Canva.
Well, I've used Canva before, and I've made like a little map to like illustrate the place where a book is set and things like that. I think it's murky waters at the moment. Can't really say yay or nay, but I just think it's such a hot topic at the moment with like people using AI for book covers and stuff like that as well. Like it's just a bit human authored, human created art is the
It's tricky though. It is tricky because, you know, I mean the guys on TikTok are saying about using Unsplash and Pexels and those things with the free images, and it's tricky because you have to do what you have to do to create the content.
Also, like be very aware that other people will be doing it and will be getting the benefits of it. So it's whether you want to compete or not. And again, it's why you're writing a book and why you want to be an author is a personal thing. So I think it depends on that. But yeah, I think some nice middle ground would be maybe getting an artist to make you something that you can reuse, aka something that's formatted in Canva that you can then play with, or some character imagery that you can use in many ways. So like it's somewhere in the middle. But yeah, it's really tough because obviously there'll be people.
Or use like I've used just like film, you know, if I've said, these are the inspirations behind a character, and like, you know, a few actors or something like that, or do you know what I mean? Like you can create a visual image for people without necessarily using a generated AI image.
Or you can go full mad like me and you can dress up as the characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I have done. So
can we take one more question from Gemma? Why should readers/agents trust that we did the writing ourselves anyway?
Because if you're an author that's not doing the writing yourself, what are you doing? What are you doing?
That's the question. I think it's like if you use AI well enough, I feel like you can do a very good job.
Yeah, you could do. You might get through, like, you know, depending on how good the AI is, you might get through the first hurdle, but it will be found out at some point down the road. It's in contracts, agent agreements, publisher agreements, and it will get cancelled, like the recent Shy Girl controversy. So yeah, I mean, it's such a you know, a business of trust, a business of, like, you know, people working with each other. That there has to be.
I guess when you have to write the follow up, it's going to be rough matching that tone of voice.
Well, as we know, if you've watched any, like, what's that? Oh, I can't remember. There's a Netflix thing where the guy nicks the book from his dead wife.
I mean,
Yeah,
the story
yeah.
of most writers.
With that hot guy is the main guy in it. That's all I've got for you. But yes, not great. It's the equivalent. But also, someone did go and test one of the AI detectors the other day and put Shakespeare in it, and it was like, this is 98% written by AI. So
yeah, AI is not good enough yet, but it will be one day.
The word
possibly.
limit in the comments is a challenge. We apologise, Gemma. We will petition to increase that for TikTok. I only kid, but also you can join us on YouTube if you do want to give us long comments. We do these lives on YouTube. So we are at the hour. I have a whole other meeting to go to. Thank you, Francesca. Riccardi, literary agent. It's Lit Agent Fran on
The Agent
TikTok.
Fran. Yep.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope we were like 2% useful. We will post this on TikTok and YouTube, so you can rewatch it if you want to. And yeah, let's have you back. Let's do this again. We've found a whole new audience on TikTok, and we're loving it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.